live and in color. Welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable pop-up event. Here to get the show on the road are our hosts, Ted Ings, Sarah Van Tyne, Katrina Ness, and Vanessa Collins.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Katrina Ness, joined by Ted Ings, and we are here in Dallas, Texas at the Snell Motor Company. Ted, we have a very exciting day ahead of us.
Katrina, we do. What a beautiful Jaguar Land Rover facility. We're very grateful to Ken Mauldin, the Fixed Operations Director for the group, and Rebecca DeLeon, who handles the talent acquisition for the group as well. Rebecca and Ken, thanks for having us in.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for coming today. We're excited.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great day. We have a lot in store. We're going to be talking about the company itself, the people that actually make the company itself, looking at our careers, our culture, people development, all kinds of good stuff's going to happen today.
Yeah.
We have some exciting panels. Katrina and I want to thank both of you for helping to put them together. Also, a big shout out to the Reynolds and Reynolds Company for helping to set this up. They nominated the Snell Motor Company last year to be a certified dealer at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. So, Ken and Rebecca, congratulations on that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, Katrina, you and I have seen some of the best dealers in the country, and I think we're in for a really strong treat today. And here we are, Katrina, in service, right, doing the event here.
Exactly. We are in the shop live and kicking it off strong today. Rebecca has a beautiful setup going for us, and we're so excited to get this day started.
So, without further ado, if that's okay,
Absolutely. Let's keep going.
let's get the show on the road. And Katrina and I are here at Snell Motor Company, Jaguar Land Rover. We're in Dallas, Texas, with the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Katrina and I will be right back.
Hello, everyone. It's Katrina Ness with the Fixed Ops Roundtable. We are here in Dallas, Texas at the Snell Motor Company. I'm with Ted Ings, and we have an amazing panel here to talk about the culture and the history.
Katrina, what a great visit we're having here in Dallas with Snell Motor Company. And as you said, we want to talk a little bit about the history, culture, and core values. We're here with Rebecca and with Ken as well. So, Ken, kind of take us back through the history of Snell and how we got here today.
Well, we are a third generation company. Started in 1973 with Mr. Don Snell as a Buick dealership. We learned a lot about that this last couple of weeks in our interviews with the owners. And the Don himself was actually a GM for a Chevy dealership that used to be here, and was constantly looking for his own dealership, to the point that they thought they were going to have to leave the state to go get their own dealership. And then turned out he ended up with a Buick dealership, which this room you're sitting in right now is actually the showroom
Wow.
of the Buick dealership back in 1987, I believe it was.
So this Jaguar Land Rover service area was once a showroom.
Wow. This was the showroom.
Very cool. And from there, at some point later on, they acquired a Jaguar Land Rover franchise. You and I discussed that. That's a pretty interesting story you told me.
Yes. Apparently they went to NADA somewhere in like 86, 87 for a visit, and walked into a booth at NADA, and Jaguar Land Rover were there, actually Land Rover at that time, trying to get their start in the U.S. And Mr. Snell at that point handed a business card, said I'd be interested in talking. They reached out to him a few months later, and from what we understand, we were the first store in Texas to sell a Range Rover.
Wow.
Here in Dallas.
That's amazing.
To the point that it was such a new demographic coming into the United States. They sent one of our technicians for 2 weeks of training in the UK. So that was pretty interesting. Yeah.
So now today, Snell Motor Company involves how many rooftops and how many different locations?
We have 5 rooftops total, 4 different locations.
Okay.
So we have 3 Jaguar Land Rover stores of our own.
Wow. All here in Texas or
Texas and Oklahoma.
in Oklahoma? Okay. And approximately how many employees?
So we have a little under 400 employees, right? And so with the 5 rooftops, we also have a collision center. So you guys were able to meet Jackie, who is from the collision center, and that one's also located here in DFW. So,
Wow. So managing such a large organization with so many different rooftops and profit centers under it, you guys have such a strong culture. You have mission statements, values as well. I know some of your core values are honesty, integrity, respect, trust, commitment, and passion. Ken, which ones of these really stand out and do you kind of embody the most on a day-to-day basis?
Actually, to be honest with you, all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Integrity, I think, is probably one of our biggest ones, because being in the dealership world as long as I've been, and a lot of people that work for us have been, is, we do have the reputation for not being trusted very much. So we focus on integrity every single day in the business to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the customer every single time.
So Rebecca, 3 generations strong, started in about 1973. And I'll just read from the mission statement here. It says, Snell Motor Companies is committed to building a high-performing dealership family devoted to creating a culture that is guest-centered while furthering the knowledge and careers of our team members. Talk to us about furthering the knowledge and careers of the team members. That seems to be a big part of what we talked about today.
Absolutely. I think you are going to see a trend even with our succession planning, right? I just touched on the technician that went to the UK, right, for 2 weeks. And so that was such a new thing that it's not something that we've just started. It is something that they've been truly passionate about, equipping our teammates with just that education. And then, in talking with Jimmy, we're like, well, where do we go from here? He goes, I want to grow as much as the people want to grow. And so his vision is really about the people of this company and how do we equip them. Matter of fact, as chaotic as it's been today, we have a 4-day training for JLR here as we're filming today. And then there's trainings going on, every customer facing role has to take. Yeah.
Your people have been amazing. And I'm looking here, Ken, and this word came up earlier today, empowering your people, consistently exceeding expectations through empowered team members committed to building meaningful relationships that enhance the guest experience. You do really empower your team members.
Absolutely. It's a big focus across the board, not just in fixed ops, but even in the variable side of the business too, is to empower the people to take care of their client. At the end of the day, if we don't take care of our client, someone else will. So we need to do that, and we need to do it to the best of our abilities. So empowerment is huge when it comes to that side of the business.
And it works from the top down.
That's right. And, we talk about empowerment, just not for our external clients, but our internal clients as well, right? We want to be able to equip our leaders and our management team to empower themselves into creating a culture for our internal teammates as well. And creating that succession plan, make sure you have, and you're training your replacement at all times, right? Because everybody wants to grow. And so empowering them to teach the next generation as well.
Katrina, I've also noticed, the attitude is really great of the people here. That's something you can't teach, okay? You can't train for that. You've got that. So
Absolutely. And that comes with a very lucrative hiring process as well. I was talking to Rebecca about this earlier, when onboarding new individuals and ensuring that they're the right fit for the company as soon as they step foot in the door. Rebecca, if you want to touch a little bit more on that.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked a little bit about what my process looks like when it comes to interviewing and making sure that we're sourcing the right candidates. My goal is to always have somebody come in here with a servant's heart, right? We talk about commitment and passion, and you hear me say that throughout all of the panels and sessions, right? Servant's heart. And so we're in a client facing role. We take care of our clients. And so if you don't do it with integrity, with a servant's heart, with passion, then it shows on the service drive and it shows within us. And I think that's why you guys were able to get that kind of energy from all of our teammates, because we make sure that we equip them. They love what they do. And we make sure that whoever comes on board, whether it's internally and they progress into management, everybody gets an interview. And so it's just kind of how it's embedded in us, right?
Absolutely.
And Ken, thank you for helping us to tell this story today. Here we are in the service department of all places.
Yes.
Where we're surrounded by vehicles, Jaguars, Land Rovers, vehicles being serviced. That's all part of the story, the fixed operation story, and ultimately the story of empowerment at Snell as well.
Absolutely. It's definitely an interesting story. Again, we just celebrated 50 years, just a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a big deal, and we're looking at to Rebecca's point earlier and talking with Jimmy. He still wants to grow the company. He wants to grow the portfolio that we have, and he's looking to expand his brand and his knowledge and things like that. So there's a lot of exciting things to come.
Just to kind of piggyback on, empowerment is going to be the key word for today. And if anybody out there is thinking about, well, why aren't we hearing from Jim and Jimmy? And so these are the kind of leaders they are. They have empowered us and entrusted in us to deliver the message of legacy. We don't have to have the Snell last name, but they are committed to us, and they know that we will deliver that message in a way that they would be so proud of. And that, to me, is the kind of leadership and empowerment that you get from not everybody out there. So we're very blessed to be here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Congratulations to both of you and the organization on being a Fixed Ops Roundtable certified dealer.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
Appreciate all you do. I'm Ted Ings with Katrina Ness. We're here in Dallas, Texas with the Fixed Ops Roundtable at the Snell Motor Company. We will be right back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Katrina Ness, joined by Ted Ings, and we are here in Dallas, Texas at the Snell Motor Company. Right now, we have our career path panel. Ted, this is a very exciting panel that I'm so excited to jump into.
It is. It's a frequent topic that we have at the roundtable. We're here at the Jaguar Land Rover dealership today. I'd like to ask each of you to introduce yourselves and tell us what you do for Snell, starting with Marcelo right here.
My name is Marcelo Rodriguez. I am a service advisor here at this store.
Hey guys, Adam McNatt, shop foreman, Land Rover Frisco.
Rebecca DeLeon, I am over talent acquisition.
Diego Martinez, service director, Jaguar Land Rover Austin.
Ken Mauldin, platform director for the Snell Group.
Ryan Schock, service manager here at Land Rover Dallas.
So, Ken, here at Snell, what role does leadership and mentorship play in professional growth and pushing up employees, and how is that kind of intertwined in our culture?
It's a huge thing here at the Snell Group. We have been heavily focused the last few months on what our career paths look like for our team. It's all about your people. If you don't have your people involved in your day-to-day business and what their careers and future look like, you're not going to be successful. Rebecca does a really good job of keeping the talent acquisition flowing and keeping it moving in here. And then once we get them here, working on the plans of what their day-to-day looks like and how we can grow them to obviously be a better leader for the company, but also a better person in general.
Yeah, absolutely. To that kind of, to piggyback off of what Ken said was, when we look for talent outside of the company and bringing them in, what we want to do is be able to develop kind of where they want to go and kind of mirror that in their career path with us. And so to Ken's, notes, then the last 6 months we have been able to really succession plan throughout our company, which has been one of the most amazing things here for us. But even as they onboard and start the, interview process, right? I always go, where do you want to go? Tell me what you want to do in 5 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, and then really get their motivators. Do you love fishing? Are you doing this for your kids? And then kind of building a career path for them in that aspect.
Wow, Rebecca, that's amazing, and really gauging what your employees see themselves doing in the future. And so at the end of the day, everyone's happy and everyone's end goals and can guarantee that they'll stay at the company for a long time because employee retention is absolutely huge. Diego, what has your career path been like here at Snell? And have you had any mentors or leaders that have been key components in pushing you up?
I have a lot of mentors. Some of them are here with us right now. It's been a great experience being with this company. I was an advisor here. I left for a little while and then I got the opportunity to come back. And really, they gave me every chance, everything that I desired with coming back. I was able to move from advisor to service manager, from service manager to director now. So it definitely helps with the company and seeing other people move ahead.
Definitely. Marcella, what about yourself?
I started off here as a parts warehouse and moved to the parts counter. And then luckily I had Diego. He helped me move to service advisor, which I am now. So.
Yeah, Adam?
For me, it was simple. Coming in as a technician, I knew I wanted to be a shop foreman at some point, and then it was just putting those steps in place to get to that point. And what I really like about this place and these people and the culture is that they invite you into those processes. They ask the questions, and more importantly, they want to know where you're at. They want to know, like what Rebecca was saying, what do you see yourself 5 years from now? And then it was just putting those steps in place to get to that.
Definitely. Well, it's great to hear that you are a true success story of exactly what Rebecca was saying, and pushing up your employees and engaging with them one-on-one and making sure that their career path is aligned with what you can provide and give to them. Ryan, what about yourself?
My path was a little bit different. I started with Land Rover up in Oklahoma City. I've transitioned down here, and with the great people that I've been surrounded with, I hired in about the same time as Diego, and so kind of got to follow his path, and then work up to, service manager from the service advisor position.
Wow. Did you have any mentors that played a crucial role
I
in your career
did.
path?
I did, especially back in my Kansas days of being in dealerships up there. A gentleman by the name of Corey Walcher has been in the industry and helped me kind of get to where I am.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
I want to pivot a little bit, everybody, and talk to you about the technician program and maybe how that's transformed careers and what are the plans for its future growth. That affects everybody here. Ken, if you'd lead us off on that topic.
So we have partnered with quite a few people here in the local area. One of them being a high school here for Dubinsky students that we have. Rebecca has done a really good job of setting us up for success with that company and following through with what it looks like. I'll let her chime in more on what that does look like.
I was going to say, do not give me all the credit, because all I do is sign us up, and then I tee it off to, Adams of the world. And, so he's done an incredible job. When we first launched it here for our JLR Dallas, we had Alex kind of take the lead on it, and you guys will get to know him a little bit later. But we kind of started the process here, and last year I go, all right, Frisco, here you go. And so Adam was really nice to go, all right, give me 5 kids. And I think more so because you went through that path, right, Adam? And you knew how hard it was to become a great technician and have people to kind of advocate for you. So talk to us a little bit about what that's done for you in your career path.
Sure. What I really like about it is the excitement. And these guys come to us and they recognize that we're offering more than just a job, we're offering a career path. And we're offering them to be part of something bigger than just them, but what we like to call family. And specifically what we're selling is purpose, right? Because you're learning something more than just, as a technician, how to work on vehicles. But you're learning more about yourself, patience, resilience, willingness to learn, things of that nature. And so that's what we're looking for, and that's what these guys were coming to us with.
Absolutely. Adam, what advice would you give dealers looking to grow something like this?
I would say invite them into your processes. Show them what makes you or what makes them welcomed, right? So anytime we're looking for applicants, we're looking for those that are looking for, like I said, a career path.
Yeah, I think to that aspect, Adam hit it spot on. When you look for technicians or even dealer groups that are looking to do something like this, so often we're looking for the experienced technician. And so grooming your technicians from the ground up and being able to have that management team and that leadership team that really wants to wrap their arms around kids who have never done this means the world to this industry, because it's really what's going to set us apart. We kind of grow them from within. So yeah.
Well, Marcelo, it sounds like there's really a strong support group here, for technicians to grow, and that trickles all the way down back to the customer as well.
Yes, for sure. It's so nice to have a group of leaders that can come together and bring all of us together. And it's all about taking care of the customer at the end of the day, and it all trickles down to it.
Ryan, how has that affected you, having this?
Just the strong group around every day that you show up around just creates this environment to just kind of get after it and go to work. You want to be here. It makes it easy, work, you're going to have bad days, but it's just fun around here. It's pretty simple.
And Diego, I'm curious, what would you tell other dealers who are looking to grow their team and talent?
Empower your employees, empower the members. If they feel like they're all rowing the same direction, it's an extreme benefit. Everybody wants to know what's going on, wants to be a part of it. They just don't know. So if you explain it, you empower them with the ability to get there, then they'll work their butt off to get there.
Are you empowered to make these decisions as well?
I do believe I am empowered. Yes, sir.
Ken, that seems to be an important word. Okay, we're hearing that more and more.
Absolutely. We talk about empowerment all the time, but we also talk about the why. You know, why do we do what we do every day? Why do we need this? Why do we need to do that? And one of the keys, I think, as a leadership team that you have to do is listen. You have to listen to your employees. They'll tell you what's going on. They'll tell you what they need. Maybe not directly, but you have to be really, really good at listening and understanding what's going on so that way you can help them grow in their path and their career.
Katrina, this is exciting stuff, and we're learning about the people of the Snell Motor Company.
Absolutely. And I feel we're just diving into the culture here. And I can't wait to hit on more panels and discuss the culture even further later today.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for being with us today and helping us get things started. We have a lot ahead of us and a lot of folks to talk to as well. So appreciate all your help in doing that. Katrina, Ness, and I are here in Dallas, Texas at the Snell Motor Company Jaguar Land Rover. We're here with Reynolds and Reynolds. And Katrina and I will be right back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Katrina Ness, joined by Ted Ings, and we are here in Dallas, Texas at the Snell Motor Company. Ted, this is amazing. We're so grateful to be here.
We're going to be talking a little bit today about career paths and the unique program that Snell has set up for their employees. I'd like everybody up here on the panel to introduce themselves. Tell us your first and last name and what you do here at Snell.
Absolutely. My name is Rebecca De Leon, and I oversee our talent acquisition.
I am Angel Ruiz. I'm a technician, automotive technician.
My name is Christopher Chavez. I'm a level 1 certified technician.
My name is Alejandro Araiza. I am the shop foreman here at Land Rover Dallas.
My name is Danilo Rios. I'm also a technician here.
Adam McNatt, shop foreman, Land Rover Frisco.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Rebecca, tell us about the college signing day pay plan signing event that you guys had.
Absolutely. Honestly, that was one of my favorite career moments. And it has nothing to do with what I've done and everything to do with what they've done. So we partnered with a local high school here in the DFW area. And so a lot of the time, college signing day is such a big deal, right? You are just committing to a 4-year university. And so the one thing that I wanted to do was also make sure that these career paths programs are also recognized as big as the 4-year university commitments. And so I talked to the instructor and I go, hey, for signing day, can we get a little bit of piece of the pie, right? Let us kind of celebrate our technicians that are graduating high school and be part of that program. And so we talked to the principal. They said, absolutely. And so instead of committing to a 4-year university, what these students did is they came out of high school with a offer to work at a luxury dealership group. And so we took their pay plan and they signed it that day, committing to, Jaguar Land Rover of Dallas. So it was a very neat experience. Angel, talk to us a little bit about kind of what your friends were experiencing that day, because they were all coming up to you guys, weren't they?
Yeah, it was a day. It was you guys gave us, a box, a tool car that we could put our tools in, And it's like a good start for us since we really just started with no tools, and that was a good gift.
Yeah. So what we did was, we had our signing day table, and then we bought toolboxes and tool carts for our technician apprentices with our logo on there, and so they were set up very nice, which was kind of a cool factor. Their tools laid out, their names on the toolboxes, and so again, we wanted to celebrate in such a grandiose way because at the end of the day, they're coming out of high school in a full with employment, right? So it was a really neat thing. And then with Chris, we actually recruited him from one of our local colleges here. He started off as a valet, right? For how long?
For about 6 months, I would say.
Yeah. And then you've progressed to being a technician.
Yes, that's right.
How long have you been with us now?
As a technician, a little over a year now.
Okay, so how did you decide this was the place to be? Because it's also a very interesting story for him.
So I came with my classroom to take a tour of Land Rover, and as soon as we pulled up to the service drive, we were welcomed, and that felt very welcoming to me, and I like that about y'all.
Yeah.
And then
one of the things I said, I was like, so we had a field trip planned for the colleges, right? And so we're like, come in and take a look at our facility. We had swag bags out on the drive. And so we wanted them to look at our dealership and really recognize that. And one of the things that I always tell any entry-level technician is, if you want to go work for a dealership group, go in regular clothes, right? And the way they address you coming in is key, right? Because if they address you right away, that means that the culture and the people there have servants' heart. Again, you guys will hear me say that a lot, right? And so if you go in your technician attire, guess what? Everybody's going to gravitate towards you. So what that'll do is tell you the kind of people that work there. And so that's always my rule of thumb. If you're going to go check out a dealership, make sure you do that.
Chris, thank you so much. Let me go to this next gentleman. How has this affected what you do here at Snell?
Here, it's been a great opportunity for the Snell and the technicians. Get to train them up from the bottom. I mean, start at the basis and just start training them and building them the way we would want to, and getting them the career path going for them, training with Jaguar, with Land Rover, to get them to become certified master technicians at the end of the day. So we just help us overall throughout the shop.
And things like that toolbox go a long way.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Now he has a toolbox to start off with and set up his tools, and just gives them that motivation, that thing. They got me this amazing toolbox, so now it's showing that they care about me.
Now, Emilio, first of all, were you involved in the signing day? Are you a tech as well? Tell us about that.
The day of the signing day, we got very lucky. They brought us breakfast that day. We did get the toolboxes. That was a huge surprise for us throughout the day. And as the colleges were going around giving all the scholarships, we did get like the most wow factor, I guess, to it. Because even though they had the scholarships, they showed out for us. And that was like the biggest appreciation for us.
Wow, that's amazing. And did you really feel like a large support and a large excitement with, this next milestone in your life?
Yes, I did. I felt very lucky to be there at that moment, because it was not only just us, but also the other people around us. They were coming up to Rebecca asking for an opportunity to have the job.
Wow.
And so it made us feel even more special while we were there. And that was like one of the biggest things throughout the day.
Definitely. Well, I'm so glad that, this event didn't only have a lasting impact on you guys, but it also set the future up for success and bringing more excitement and more possible future employees excited about this incoming role and, commitment as other, students who were committing to a 4-year college would have. Definitely.
Adam, I want to ask you, how important is it to show the community, the surrounding community here in Dallas, that working as a tech is a lucrative way to make a living? We didn't always appreciate techs in the past in our industry.
Right. Being a part of this process is that we're seeing the introduction of these guys for their career path. And not only are we trying to invite them into our culture and show them that, but we're in the business of instilling value, right? That career path is respected, and then we're going to offer the steps that they can take to reach their goals.
Okay, I like that a whole lot. Lightning round, if I can, to close this out today. Just 30 seconds or less from everybody, starting with Rebecca over here. What's one thing leadership has done to make you feel that the technician path was open to you? Rebecca, in your case, was open to everybody as well.
I think the one thing that they've done for me is that they've allowed me to hire high school students and kind of groom our technicians from the ground up.
Yeah, that's the best way.
Yeah.
Angel?
For me, it was, getting an opportunity, and it's one of the best opportunities in life.
Yeah, I could tell. I could feel it. Chris, yourself.
For me, it's the opportunity to work on cars and move forward, and I learn every day, and that's what I like about it. I guess.
Mm-hmm. I'll say for me, the biggest opportunity would be, just from my personal experience, starting off as a quick loop technician and then moving up to shop foreman where I am now. Just trying to build that path for somebody else as well.
Yep. Emilio?
I think the biggest opportunity was being able to choose this place as our work environment, and just the area of expertise we got to go into.
Awesome. And then Adam, from your perspective, what is one thing being in a leadership role that you guys try to do to make sure that the technician path is open to external individuals and for them to get excited about it?
Sure. The main thing is we're showing them that the opportunity is there, that this is an industry that's very welcoming, and that you can develop your career. And most importantly, You get purpose from that. It's good to see these guys bring that level of energy into this, and we want to just, bring the best into that.
Am I correct in saying that we have 2 shop foremen here on this panel?
Yes.
And, to show everybody the career path, that it's possible, okay, to move up, and have a career being a tech and a really good career. Congratulations to all of you on making the move here. And congratulations to Snell Motor Company as well for all you do for our industry and moving it forward. I'm Ted Ings. I'm here with Katrina Ness. We're in Dallas, Texas today. We're at the Snell Motor Company, Jaguar Land Rover, working and listening and meeting with the people of Snell. Katrina and I will be right back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Katrina Ness, joined by Ted Ings, and we are here at the Snell Motor Company in Dallas, Texas. Ted, we are so happy to be here.
We are. We're learning a whole lot about the people of Snell. We're in Dallas. And on this panel, we'll be talking about the video multi-point inspections. So we have a wide array of folks on here. I'd like to have you all on the panel introduce yourself, starting with this gentleman right here. Tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Darren Forster. I'm the regional sales director for Reynolds and Reynolds. Been with Reynolds for about 17 years, and I cover from basically Amarillo to Shreveport, all the way up to Montana and Wyoming.
I'm Travis, and I'm a JLR technician. Worked here for 4 years.
My name is Chris. I'm a JLR technician. I've been here for about 1 year.
Casey Pollard, service director here at JLR Dallas, and I've been here a little over a year.
Ryan Schock, service manager, and I've been here about 4 years now.
Marcelo Rodriguez. I'm a service advisor here at Land Rover Dallas, and I've been here about 4 years.
Thank you all. Casey, talk to us about the differences that you guys have seen when you started implementing the MPI videos.
Well, first and foremost, I think the closing percentages, the fact that you can see what you're selling, whether it be a red closing ratio, a yellow closing ratio, or combined. That coupled with the value for the money on our MPS has really seen a big target. The fact that the customers can see exactly what's going on makes a big, big difference.
Definitely. Marcelo, what about you from an advisor perspective? What major and measurable differences have you seen when you guys started implementing these videos?
Honestly, a lot of the feedback we get from the customers is that it builds trust with them. They're able to see what's going on with their car a lot of the time. And for somebody who doesn't know much about cars, it helps them understand better.
Definitely. Definitely.
Can I ask the text the same question, starting with Travis and Chris? Using the video MPIs, what measurable differences have you seen yourselves personally?
Instantly, I mean, I was able to get more hours. Like Marcelo said, the customers trust us more because they can actually visualize and see what the issues are, and it just helps the whole process.
Chris?
Yeah, I think that we've seen a lot more upsells, especially on the basic maintenance stuff like tires and brakes.
Ryan, what have you seen?
Just kind of piggybacking off of what Marcelo said, as far as just the transparency that it creates. And then kind of like he stated, if someone doesn't have that general knowledge of brake measurements or tire tread depth, it just really creates that see all that everybody kind of is on the same page and makes it easy.
Darren, you cover a wide amount of territory, okay? I would imagine you see different things in different parts of the country. What are you seeing from the Reynolds perspective on techs doing these MPIs on video?
Primarily, it's credibility, right? We've seen people look at those videos on TV. This is what your air filter looks like, and no one actually believes it, whether it's their air filter or not. But when you actually have a video of your own car by the technician walking around and then he's pointing out things, kind of just impartially, hey, this is what we've noticed. It just gives more credibility to not only the process, but also for the clients to make their informed decision on something that's, hey, this might be wrong with it. I better fix it now. Or at least the dealership brought it to their attention. So from, kind of like a CYA, we did show you that your brakes pads were low and you should change it or whatever. So it's the credibility, I think, is one of the best parts of having a video MPI.
Travis, tell us about these videos, what it's like filming them, the duration of them, and the impact that they have on the customer.
It's pretty simple. Typically try to do about 40 to 60 seconds. We don't want to go longer and too long, and That way the customer will lose attention. But go over the basic things, fluid levels, brake pads, tire tread, just to give a quick overall guide to what's going on with their vehicle.
Chris, same question for you.
I definitely agree with what Travis said. I think that keeping it short and sweet and straight to the point is definitely something that the customers look forward to.
And Travis and Chris, is this a Reynolds tool that you're using with the customer, to do these video MPIs? Is that all part of what Reynolds, provides the dealership as well?
Yeah, yeah. And it goes straight through our operating system that we use for ROs and everything. So it's immediately connected. We just attach it to the ROs. So it's really simple.
Casey, would you say this has changed the video MPIs? Have they changed the way the customers respond to service recommendations?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's brought so much more efficiency to that process. I mean, now when a wreck is declined or approved, everybody knows instantly, from parts to the technician to the service advisor, and we can all get moving. We don't have to wait for the advisor to walk back to the shop. We don't have to wait for parts everything's going. When the tech shows up to parts, his parts are there and he's ready to go to work.
Casey, you must have had some resistance along the way, right? I mean, it typically happens with no matter what it is, whether it was the MPI itself. Talk to us about that and how you got the techs on board, to do this.
Well, it was actually pretty simple. When you have the support we had from the leadership up top, they asked if we were getting paid for it, and my boss said, well, let's pay them. So we passed out $100 bills on Mondays for the best video MPI. We had a 60-inch TV in the shop, and we played about 6 videos. We let the sales department pick the best one and passed out $100 bills for about, 6, 7, 8 weeks? Yeah, these guys took home 300 or 400 a piece, I think.
Wow, Casey, that is awesome. Travis and Chris, talk to us more about this and what this experience was like with this contest.
Yeah, I definitely think that the MPIs at first was not something we were looking forward to.
Okay.
But after seeing the results and how much money we can make from it, I think we see a lot more value from it.
And did it make it fun too, having a little bit of competition and some competitive spirit?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, the money was a nice prize too. So
Some incentive, yeah. Travis, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tedious process. Just sometimes, I mean, it takes, like I said, 40 to 60 seconds, but sometimes our workload, we're busy, which is a good thing. So we kind of weren't pumped about it, but once we got the motions, got used to it, just helped out overall, and we're all making more money. So I think it's a positive thing.
Marcella, what would you say was one of the biggest challenges to getting the techs to fully buy into the video inspections from your point of view?
From my point of view, I believe for the techs, it was more of this is going to take time away from other jobs that I have going on, right? And once they see that from doing the MPI videos, they're able to kind of get more approvals through it. They're able to buy in at that point.
Ryan, from your perspective, any challenges that and how did they get overcome?
Not a ton of challenges. I think everybody pretty much adapted fairly quickly with it. Mainly just due to the leadership as far as some of the team leads that we have in those positions that set the tone with the video MPIs, and everybody kind of just followed suit with it. So it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, and then Darren, from a high level view, what advice would you give dealers looking to onboard this within their stores?
Starts with leadership. It should be a condition of your employment. You're going to use the tools. If you use the tools and then actually see the buy-in from the techs and the service advisors you're hearing here, that's when you get a tool utilized to the full capacity. Because initially technicians hate doing these type of things because they're thinking our service advisors aren't going to sell it. So why am I doing all this work? But when they work together, and our solution is a communications device, works together, makes it more efficient, all of a sudden everyone's winning. But it does start at the top, and it does start being committed to the tool.
Last question I have for our two techs here, Travis and Chris. Would you ever consider working for a dealership or a group that did not do video inspections? Let's say they took all this away from you, okay? Would that put you at a big disadvantage?
I think so, because like we've all stated before, if the client can't actually see what's going on with their vehicle, some people may not trust you if they can't actually see the issue. I mean, it totally changes the whole thing, and I think it would drop sales, and it just probably would overall be negative.
Chris, what if you couldn't do these MPIs anymore in video?
I don't think I could work for a dealer that didn't do MPIs. That's for sure. Yeah, after seeing the results, definitely not.
I put a smile on Casey's face, by the way.
I think
We're
the
not getting rid of them,
change
so.
in the onboarding aspect of it can be difficult, but you guys are true testaments of once it's already in place, you don't want to go back.
All right. I'm Ted Ings. I'm here with Katrina Ness. We are here at Snell Motor Company in Dallas, Texas, at the Jaguar Land Rover dealership, learning about video MPIs. Everybody, thank you so much for sharing your experience. And I think you and I took a lot away from this as well.
We did. We did.
All right. Katrina and I will be right back. Thanks so much.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Katrina Ness, joined by Ted Ings, and we are here in Dallas, Texas, at the Snell Motor Company. Ted, it has been an incredible day, and I'm so excited to dive into this panel.
It is. We have our leaders here with us on this panel talking about leveraging some of the Reynolds and Reynolds tools. So before we begin, I'll ask you each to introduce yourself and what you do here, starting with Casey on this side.
Casey Pollard, Service Director, JLR Dallas.
Ryan Schock, Service Manager.
Diego Martinez, Service Director, JLR Austin.
Ken Mauldin, Platform Director for the Snell Group.
Adam McNatt, Shop Foreman, Landover Frisco.
Darren Forster, I'm with Reynolds and Reynolds.
Absolutely. So, Casey, tell us, what impact has advanced service had on internal communication between advisors, tech, and parts?
Well, we touched on it on one of the previous panels. It's efficiency. I mean, when the customer approves, when we send a e-approval, everybody knows that it was sent. There's not a question of, did you send my recs? There wasn't a question of, did they see all my recs? Because the advisor doesn't have the ability to delete them. So you're confident that whatever the technician recommends is going to get to the client, and everybody can see it. The transparency is like none other.
Absolutely. Ken, what about you?
Well, to piggyback on what he said, you know, again, here in this group, we talk about efficiency a lot. And that's one of probably the biggest tools that we have to help with the communication between the techs and advisors, because if you keep a technician in their stall working, keep an advisor at their desk selling, you become a lot more efficient.
Absolutely. And efficiency is key, especially when, you know, the techs and the advisors are in the role of hours, specifically technicians. And advisors have many things to get done, which we've also touched on earlier today.
Diego, I want to follow up with you. How has advanced service helped service advisors better manage the flow of repair orders throughout their day?
It's transparent. Again, everybody's able to see it. The communication between the advisor, the technician, the client as well. It's all integrated in one space. So there is no jumping around, no back and forth. It is all together, and it's a beautiful thing.
Adam, your thoughts on both advanced service and how it integrates into the day?
Advanced Service does a really good job of streamlining the processes and basically increasing overall communication. You know, the biggest hurdle we have is communication, specifically internal communication. And I would argue that one of the toughest jobs in the dealership is being a service advisor, especially if you have an advisor, or excuse me, if you have a customer asking you questions about the status of the vehicle. They can dive in really quickly, see what's going on, see the technician still working on it, and have a better response to that question.
And Ryan, advanced service, your perspective on that?
You know, it just back to the communication, even just bringing the parts department in there. It's limiting those trips to the parts department on the technician's end. The communication factor between, you know, obviously the advisor and the technician and parts, it just gets everybody on that same page.
Darren, I want to segue a little bit over to service price guide, because this group not only uses advanced service, but you and I were talking before we got started today that the communication to the customer could be different if we don't have a consistent process. SPG helps provide that. If you want to talk a little bit about that as well.
Well, yeah, so service pricing guides is designed so if I call the dealership, doesn't matter who I talk to, I get the same price quote. Nothing can be more frustrating when a customer comes in and said, someone quoted me $500 and then you're handing a $700, you know, repair order, right? With service pricing guides, we match all the pricing throughout the dealership for all customer pay. So if someone calls the parts department, it's the same if they call the service department. Matter of fact, at Landover, this particular store, they use it in sales. When they're quoting accessories, they go into service pricing guides and they're able to get accurate quotes. It's one of Reynolds' best tools, and I tell everyone who's on Reynolds, if you don't have service pricing guides, you're missing out. Great tool, and it's managed out of our group out of Tampa. So we have a whole team in Tampa, Florida, to help you and be support for you. Great tool.
Ken Mauldin, how important are tools like this from the Reynolds toolbox to your team every day here at Snell?
Oh, it's very, very important. We spend a lot of time in the advanced service side, in the SPG side, working with the pricing side. And to Darren's point about the team in Tampa, I mean, I've gotten to know those guys very well on first name basis. And matter of fact, I have their cell phone number. He probably shouldn't know that. But so yes, we spend a lot of time diving into them, working on them every day, tweaking them every day. And the pricing structure is probably one of the most important, I think, avenues of our business, because perfect example here, we have 2 JLR stores in Dallas. We share customers. So we have to make sure we're all on the same page when it comes to this.
That's a great point.
And Ted, Ken actually went out to our Tampa office and brought his team out there, and they actually revamped their whole pricing strategy.
Really? Who did you bring with you?
It was actually previous career, but I brought 3 of my service managers, parts managers. We all went and spent 3 days out there just revamping our entire structure.
You know, Casey, we've met here today with your technicians, looked at your career path, how you bring people up. But unless you have tools like this also to help support what they're doing, advanced service price guide, this is really the glue that kind of puts it all together.
Absolutely. It's keeping everybody moving in the same direction. I mean, at the end of the day, we all come here to do a job. We all come here to be as efficient as we can be. And the entire advanced service suite allows us to do that seamlessly.
Diego, your thoughts on both service price guide and advanced service and the efficiencies that it helps create for your team?
I've used it for 12 years almost. So I love it because that is a way for me to make sure that we have exactly the same quotes from one advisor to another. If prices change, they all change at the same time. So it does allow us to keep flowing with the work that we've got coming in.
Katrina, it's hard to believe, but way back when in the industry, before we had tools like this, we actually wrote these things down on paper on the back of multi-point inspections. And that was our process, okay? Until Reynolds came along and helped provide a consistent process for dealerships like this. I know you want to ask about maybe some of the tools that are underutilized here.
Absolutely. Well, we're grateful to Reynolds for streamlining this process and making it more convenient and also better communication. So my question is for Adam, and what tools and advanced service do you feel like are underutilized and could be used better?
I would say that the messaging system could always be used better. And sometimes even using certain annotations like circling pictures, things of that nature. It's just to better communicate certain things to these customers, to the clients.
Absolutely. Ken, what about yourself?
I would agree with that. I think it's the messaging side of it is probably vital, especially, again, we talk about efficiency. It goes back to what our efficiency looks like. And, if we utilize that better, then obviously our efficiency is going to be better.
Definitely. Diego?
I can't disagree with both of them. It is the messaging system. I mean, text messaging, most clients are looking at their phone. They will answer text message, but taking a phone call may be a little difficult. So if we're using the tools that we know work the right way, then it helps us completely.
Absolutely.
Diego, Reynolds offers all this, and it's common for dealerships not to take advantage of all the tools that are available to them and just use a small percentage. But with advanced service and service price guide, you really take advantage of a whole lot of what's available from Reynolds in their suite.
Oh, very much so. With advanced service, SPG, I mean, you have text message, email, you have pictures, video, estimates. You're as transparent as you can be. And in this industry, we're not considered very transparent. So this helps out a lot.
Adam, on that same topic, this industry historically not being transparent, can you believe now we're talking transparency? It first happened in F&I up front, and here we are in service and parts. Speak to that if you would.
I say the more information you can put in front of somebody, the better they can understand it, the more efficient you will be overall.
100%.
Can you imagine going back and not having these tools?
Would not be very much fun. I can promise you that. It would be very challenging. Very challenging.
All right. Well, thank you all for being here and telling us more about how all this works together. Darren, I would say this is one of the better, if not one of the best dealerships groups out there utilizing these.
Again, I was on that previous panel. It starts at the top. All these managers I've known for quite a long time. Even the general sales manager who's not here, or general manager who's not here with us right now. They're great leaders, and when you have great leaders, people will follow, and they utilize the tools as best as possible, and especially in fixed stops, because all you have is time. And if you can't get these cars out, you need solutions that can do it, and they're a slave to the trade. So it's great.
And to expand on that, Ken, it's a perishable commodity that time.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he just said the key word time. That's the most expensive thing we have because we can't get it back. So if we can manage it better from a client standpoint and even from our own standpoint, the sky's the limit.
Thank you all for being on the panel here today. Leaders of the Snell organization. Katrina, Ness, and I are here. We're in Dallas, Texas at Snell Motor Company, Jaguar Land Rover. Katrina and I will be right back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Katrina Ness, joined by Ted Ings, and we are here in Dallas, Texas at the Snell Motor Company. Ted, it has been a wonderful day so far.
It has. We're learning all about the Snell Motor Company. On this panel, Katrina, we're going to learn about their centralized service BDC. So I'd like everybody on the panel, starting with Ken, to introduce yourselves, tell us who you are and what you do here at the organization.
Hi, I'm Ken Mauldin, Platform Director.
Diego Martinez, Service Director.
Tim De La Rosa, BDC Director.
Diana Lugardo, BDC Manager.
Ryan Schock, Service Manager.
Ken, talk to us about how the centralized BDC has helped the Snell organization from an efficiency standpoint since its inception 4 years ago.
I believe the centralized BDC is probably one of the biggest and best tools that we have in the company from an efficiency standpoint, because what it did was enabled service advisors to spend more time with their customers. We took the phone process off of them for the incoming calls and setting the appointments and put it into a centralized BDC group that does it for our entire organization.
Definitely. Tim?
I mean, just to go back to Ken's point, just taking a lot off the service advisors, having them focus on the priorities, which is managing the client's expectations. It's huge.
Absolutely. Diana, what do you have to add about how the centralized BDC has helped the organization from an efficiency standpoint?
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback on what they said, I think it just frees up a lot of time for the advisors. I know how it is to be an advisor. You spend a lot of time doing other stuff, so I think just freeing up space for them by us taking care of the back end stuff. They just focus on what they should be doing as selling and just creating relationships with their clients.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Tim, I'm wondering, what's the current show rate approximately on appointments, and what's the goal and the plan to even increase that?
We're at 84.06% on the conversion rate.
Say that again?
84.06.
He's exact.
I live in numbers. I want to get to 90% by the end of 2026. And the plan is to focus on hospitality. I think we live in absolutes and processes and everything, but working here, developing the BDC has made me realize that breaking out of those barriers to take care of the client is what increases the likelihood of the client showing up.
Diana, is the ability to measure this, as we just heard, is that an important part of what you do and knowing where you stand at all times?
Yes, it is. Tim said we decided to go back to the basics and just focus on what we can do for the customers. So we have this thing where we can't say no to the customers. We'll say, let's see what we can do first. So we are learning to make a lot of exceptions. Even though we have procedures and rules, we know that that doesn't fit every single customer.
You know, that goes back to Ken. You know, a lot of dealerships say no all too often, but you find a way not to say no.
Correct. That's part of the verbiage that we do not like to have in any of our interactions with our clients. Is we don't want to say no. We want to let them know what we can do for them.
I think that a whole lot. Diego, what about you? with the centralized BDC, and your thoughts?
It makes the dealerships uniform. I mean, we have 5 stores. Having the same people set the appointments makes a big difference. I mean, because it doesn't matter what store you go to, it's exactly the same process, right? And so it does help the advisors as well. I mean, that's the main thing, right? They don't control the amount of appointments we receive. We get to dictate a little bit more of who's actually coming in.
And what about times of day that they come in? You know, a lot of dealerships, you walk into the shop late in the afternoon and there's very little activity in the shop because they stopped taking appointments at noon. Your thoughts on that?
Well, the answer was always come in first thing in the morning, we'll get you out, right? Well, that's not necessarily the best for the client, for the technician to get the workout. So actually staggering them, bringing them in at certain times, we can get to your vehicle and complete it instead of being able to tell you no.
Wow, Ryan, and on the topic of customer service, how has the communication between the BDC and the advisors affected the overall customer experience?
Really just the 2 things or 2 words that I can think of, just conformity and consistency. Between that, it's kind of put everybody on the same page, and kind of back to what Diego said. I mean, when clients call, they know what they're going to expect from us.
Absolutely. And then Diana, from your perspective, being over at the BDC, have you heard any initial positive feedback about the clear communication between you guys and how that's affected the overall customer experience?
Yes, for sure. I think because we're the first person that customers talk to, we kind of start them off with the experience they're going to have here.
Yeah.
So I think just having that communication with the advisors, being able to just email them, let them know what their customers are needing, I think it has really helped the customer experience because it's built trust with them.
Yeah, trust and consistency and, handling from one person to the other, for sure. Tim, what about yourself?
Just building the relationship with the advisors as well. Whenever you have all the locations and we're managing the service side of the communication, I think that relationship is super important, and being able to communicate with them kind of helps them with what they expect from us, as well as, relaying the messages of what the clients expect from them.
Definitely. Diego, talk to us about this process of this clear communication and then your thoughts on the effects it has on the customer.
No, the process is pretty seamless. I mean, we have phones, email, other ways of communicating back and forth. So the communication factors there, it does help in the long run because you know what you're expecting. You know what's going to come up. So expectation is key. If you don't know what's coming, then you make up your own. Yeah. And that's usually not a good one.
Absolutely.
Tim, I'm curious, are there certain appointment types or campaigns that the BDC can convert into repair order dollars more consistently than others?
Honestly, back to the basics, it's the routine maintenance. And on top of that, training them from the start, the point of sale, getting them in for their routine multi-point inspection.
Training the customer.
Absolutely. Getting them to understand what the expectation is to take care of their vehicle. On top of that, it builds trust between the advisor as well as the client because they know exactly what to expect on their next visits.
We're here at a Jaguar Land Rover center.
Mm-hmm.
I'd imagine the customer expectations are really, really high.
They are, but one of the things we try to instill in all of our team members is whether it's our Jaguar Land Rover store, our Ford store, our Mazda store, we treat all the customers the same way. They're just as important in any store that we have.
Let me follow up with that with Diana. On the appointment types, routine maintenance, again, back to the basics, convert the easiest?
Yes, routine maintenance is really easy. We anticipate the customer's needs before they do. So we're calling customers to let them know, hey, your vehicle's due for service. Come bring it in before they can even think of taking it somewhere else.
And talk to us from a shop perspective, being able to, make more appointments, find additional work. How important is that, from the top down, looking at from a leadership position?
Well, that's what the bank accepts is the cash that comes with it. But, you do have to train the clients and you do have to let them know what we're going to be doing, be transparent in the whole process. But from the shop side, You know, they know that they're getting appointments today. They're not sitting around waiting to see if something arrives. We have it set up so they know, and it makes their day knowing that they have work to do.
Ryan, anything else you'd want to add in terms of having that centralized BDC and the consistency of that process?
You know, I think it's done a lot as just as far as empowering the BDC. I mean, it's really allowed them to take a look and dive into what we have to do every day on the service drive, and back to that consistency. It's kind of getting everybody on the same page with that as well.
You know, in today's modern age, it's hard to imagine how a dealership could not have a service centralized BDC.
100%. I mean, we talk about that all the time about what it was like prior to the BDC and its inception and what we have now. And there's definitely it's definitely a game changer when it comes to how you handle business every day.
All right. Well, fascinating panel. Congratulations to the BDC team and all the great work you're doing here at Snell Motor Company. Katrina, again, fascinating and one of the best dealerships and one of the best dealer groups in the nation.
Absolutely. And these people are true representations of that. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you.
I'm Ted Ings with Katrina Ness. We're here in Dallas, Texas at Snell Motor Company, Jaguar Land Rover. Katrina and I will be right back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Katrina Ness, joined by Gene Ings, and we are here in Dallas, Texas at the Snell Motor Company. Gene, it has been an incredible day so far, and we have a really powerful women's panel right here sitting with us. So I'm hoping that, starting down by Gene, if you guys would like to introduce yourselves and tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Anna Trevino, also go by Gallegos. I'm a service advisor here, and I've been here for 10 years.
I'm Kaylee Filio. I'm the sales and marketing director for PartsEdge.
I'm Rebecca DeLeon. I oversee the talent acquisition for Snell Motor Companies.
I'm Maureen Martin. I'm the Vice President of Strategic Alliances for Dynatron Software.
My name is Jackie Rosales. I am the internal advisor over at Snell Collision Center.
I'm Marie Whitmore. I've been in the business 26 years. I'm a service advisor here at Snell JLR Dallas.
Amazing. Now, ladies, we all know that you all play such an important role in the automotive industry. And I'm interested to hear a little bit about your stories about, have you ever been underestimated in your role? And if you could tell us a little bit about how it played out. Maureen, I'm going to jump to you first.
Okay. Well, I had the privilege to start in the automotive industry 38 years ago with Ford Motor Company, my first 11 years. So at the time, there really weren't any women that were working in the automotive space, particularly at one of the OEMs. And so I had the privilege to be, kind of leading edge. Probably most unique opportunity during that time was I was responsible for the Hawaiian Islands. And so I had parts, service, I had sales, I worked with 3 regional offices. And so I've always felt it's very important, not necessarily underestimate, but it was really about understanding that we bring a different perspective. We're just as passionate about the industry. And how do we get more women to come into it? I've also had the opportunity to really do some women organizations about recruiting and retention in the automotive industry. And so I feel it's really important that we continue to give back and we bring more women into it because a diverse thought leadership really makes a big difference.
Absolutely. Kaylee, what about yourself? In your space in the automotive industry and your career path and growth, have you ever felt underestimated or anything like that? And how did it play out?
I've been in the industry about 12 years and it's shifted a lot. And I remember, fortunately, I have great founders and bosses that I work for that's always let me test things out and just explore and really, make a brand for our company. But I would come across some parts managers that would not take me seriously. So and I would go back and just, dig deeper and really try to understand because I haven't been in that role and really put myself in their shoes so that I can better support them and figure out ways to be there for them. So that's really, and it's shifted, that was, when I first started. And I think I've changed a lot and grown a lot too. And it boiled down to confidence and really going, through those practices to practice confidence. I don't think it's not totally a natural thing. It's something you have to be conscious of and own it. So.
Rebecca, what about yourself? Being here at Snell, we've heard that they have an amazing culture, so that might not be the case at all for here. But even in your past, have you had any experiences in this male-dominated industry where you felt underrepresented or underappreciated?
Yeah, absolutely. Similar to Kaylee, I think I've had the luxury of having some great leadership under my belt. And so I do have that privilege of having men in the industry that do advocate for me and what I stand for. So 16 years in, and my first venture into really going into the dealership world was in the San Antonio market. And so I had a fixed ops director who would just not give me the time of day. And I told my boss, I was like, Steve, I'm not going back to that dealership. And so he never let me kind of let go of that account. And so really, that's where I defined my grit. I had to be consistent. And I think my success is a lot to do with the men that supported us as well.
Absolutely. Do you feel the culture that has been built here at Snell has played a different role in shaping a lot of these women on the panel that are sitting with us here today?
I think so. So my biggest, tool is to be able to talk to our leadership team and go, hey, these women bring a different perspective. They bring some empathy to the industry that we so rarely get. And so they have really taken on the listening ears and being able to advocate for the ladies that we do have on the team. Yeah.
Well, speaking of leadership, that actually rolls really well into our next question. How do we move from just representation to actual influence in leadership roles? I know we talked a little bit about grit. We talked a little bit about building confidence. What does that look like for you in your roles? Anna, do we want to start with you?
Sure. I want to say, you're saying grit. I agree with that. Also, I want to say nurturing too. I think that brings a different perspective. I know as a mom too, and being in this industry, I do understand like empathy and sympathy with people in the situations. So you just never know what kind of relationship or where they're at this moment. So it's just about kind of talking to them, understanding where they're at, and just nurturing that relationship so that you can just identify their needs and expectations.
Anna had talked a little bit about, I had seen her train a lot of the newer advisors coming in the door. And so I go, why? Why do you do that? Or how do you get them to really buy into your process, right? Because she is so soft-spoken. And as an advisor, I'm like, oh my goodness, how do you combat that? And so her why is, I want to know what their why is too. And so then I shift my training to adapt to what their interests are. And so correlate it to that. And I think she has a really good niche for that. So good for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Marie, what about yourself? How do you turn, just being women representation into actually, influence and leadership?
An old service director said a phrase, you can't demand respect, you have to command it with your actions, with your words. So I try to do as I say. I try to set the standard and lead. And obviously it's also taking in what everyone is saying and not saying no or not, but actually listening and trying to adapt, trying to make things work. So I try to lead by example, and I try to listen to what people are telling me and not turn a blind ear to it or a deaf ear to it, and actually learn from it and try to grow from that.
Absolutely. Jackie, what about yourself? How do you turn just female representation into actual leadership and empower within yourself?
I think that representation is the first step. It just means that the door is open.
Yeah.
But when you give a woman the resources, the authority, and the trust, that's when we switch from not just representing, but also making decisions that shape the business. And I think that, once you're in that position, then, the business or the things that happen around you, just, you tend to see the way that people react to you. And I think at that point you've gone from representation, but now moving into influence.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. Wow. Now, ladies, we're going to do this next question in a bit of a speed round. We talked about how automotive is often a male-dominated space. But for yourselves, how do you navigate that space in retail automotive without losing yourself. Rebecca, do you want to start us off with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have learned to be soft when I need to be soft, and I have learned to be stern when I need to be stern. I definitely make my voice heard and in the most respectful manner. You know, some would call us abrasive or very forward thinking, right? But when they would categorize, you know, the gentleman in the industry as, hey, you know, a leader, and so I have tried to define that line and hold strong and steady to what I believe without being emotional. And so emotional versus passionate is something that I try to tread lightly, right? Because I can become very passionate, which can come off as emotional. So
Anna, what about yourself? You know, you were talking about the nurturing aspect of you being a mother. How do you navigate the retail automotive world without losing yourself? Maybe from that aspect.
I would probably say I agree with you about being emotional versus passionate. I want to say, like, sometimes whenever you have that strong sentiment towards someone or you want to share an idea, I do feel like, at least in this industry at Snell Motor Company, I do feel like everything is very open discussion, that we're able to talk about it, that we're able to move forward, and they're open to our ideas. I feel like it has shaped, like being a mom and then also being a service advisor and being a leader has shaped me to allow me, I guess, them to embrace any decisions or any, you know, thoughts that I have. So without like resistance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kaylee, do you have anything to add about navigating the automotive space without losing yourself?
Oh, yeah, that's such a great question, and I can completely relate to becoming a mom and managing your career and not losing. I think that's the whole thing, is having a career and being a mom. That's how you don't lose yourself. And you have that balance. And some days you feel like you fail completely at being a mom, and some days you fail completely at being in your role. So it's like, I don't even think it's called balance. It's like harmony. They say, like, you know, it's okay. Some days you that are like that. But that's how I think you can maintain and not lose yourself and be who you are and be a mom and have a career. So I feel like I'm rambling. But
Does anyone have any last final thoughts to add on the topic of?
You know, the only thing I would add is that, you know, I have the privilege, I have triplets that just graduated from college, and as an executive in the automotive industry, I can tell you that the men appreciate just as much as the women what it's like to be a parent in today's world. And when we approach it from that perspective, I know that we can bring so many more talented people into our industry. You know, a lot of people just don't look at automotive the way that we do. And I had an executive at Ford, Jim O'Connor, who always taught me, if you really want to understand the automotive industry, go to a dealership, have them take you under their wing. They'll teach you the business, because in some form or fashion, all of us support the retail network. We do it from software company, from the fixed operation side. But when we look at it, look at your male counterparts as being, it's about our skills and our gifts, and we all bring something unique to the table.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for joining us today on this very powerful women's panel. It's great to see so many inspiring leaders sitting next to us in this industry. And then for those of you continuing to stay tuned online, we have a lot more to come and so many more panels to push out. So thank you for joining us.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Ted Ings. We are in Dallas, Texas at the Snell Motor Company at their Jaguar Land Rover dealership. I'm here with Kaylee Filio from Parts Edge, our great friend at the Roundtable. And Kaylee, I'll ask the folks who are with us here today to introduce themselves, starting with this gentleman right here.
Zach Carter. I'm the parts manager for Land Rover Frisco.
My name is Romeo Titus. I'm the assistant parts manager at Land Rover Dallas.
Sean Cawthon, parts manager, Land Rover Dallas.
And Kaylee, the Snell Motor Company is a client of yours at Parts Edge, if I'm correct.
Yes, they are.
I know you had some questions to ask the group today, so if you don't mind, I'll let you get things started.
Absolutely, yes. I wanted to ask you guys, what about Parts Edge, or what has Parts Edge done to help you become more efficient? And I think I want to start with Sean because our relationship goes back to 2008 working with Parts Edge. So long time.
I've been with Parts Edge for a long time. And it was great for me to be able to get Parts Edge to come in here because of the efficiencies and things that they brought in my past. But with Parts Edge, with the sourcing and availability, the reports, they make a parts manager's job a lot more doable without having to spend hours and hours looking at spreadsheets or data. It puts everything into a nice sourcing table to be able to read it and save time and process orders faster, sell parts easier because you know where they're at.
Romeo, but what about you from your perspective, the Parts Edge?
My perspective, I typically, I'm on the end of it. I do all the parts ordering, so it makes my life a lot easier. Instead of spending hours going through an order, find out what I need to order, not need to order, I just run a report and it just breaks it down to a simple report, and I just go through it. Take me a few minutes to go through it, just process the order and submit it instead of spending hours looking at it.
And Zach, your location is a different JLR location. Tell us about from your perspective.
It's really freed up a lot of my time that I've spent, looking at returns and obsolescence and trying to manage that aspect of it. I was, spending, multiple hours a day looking at different, looking at the sources that I did have and, what was aging in it and what wasn't. And now I'm able to, spend an hour and nail down what I need to send back.
Sean, how important is it in this day and age for you to be able to find efficiencies in parts and to make your day more efficient and again, have that trickle down throughout your organization?
And also, too, if I may add, how does that equate to value and profit, too? Because I think a lot of time what happens is I don't think a lot of people realize how much time the parts manager takes to read the data and look at and dig for what they really need to dig for to make decisions. So
reporting is a big part of it, and the availability of Parts Edge to be able to call them and ask them for help or find specific data. But looking at source tables and stuff like that, finding day supply or sales or any of these items that a parts manager would look at on a normal basis, to be able to have it done for you, have parts movement within a rim source or a non-rim source, and just look at that data and be able to identify with it and move on and not spend all day trying to dissect it and what it means or what it looks like. One of the biggest things it's done for me is at one point we were over $1 million in inventory. Since Parts Edges came in and helped us ratify the sourcing tables, I've been able to drop my inventory down to about 830,000, still have a really high turn rate. So our investment is a lot less, but our turn rate is really high. And we're not losing sales per se. It's, the turn rate's way high. So it's a lot more cost effective for the dealer group in that manner.
Romeo, a lot of people in the dealership wonder what the parts manager actually does, but a lot of your time is spent, like Sean just says, at looking at these tables and all that. Talk to us about that a little bit, if you would.
Well, from my perspective, it's freed up a lot of our time. Now, I go back to it takes us a few minutes for myself to go through the order and decide what I need, and now I can get up and walk around and manage people, like what's going on our day to day. We have a body shop. I take a day a week. I go to the body shop and spend a day at the body shop just to make sure that everything is running productive over there as well.
Sure.
So that's what it's done for me. It just frees up time.
Zach, from your perspective as well?
Time. I mean, it's time is key, and spending time with my employees and training them and growing them in the business, and not having my day just tied up digging into the numbers. I'm able to actually interact with my my personnel and grow them with the business.
I think the biggest part about that is we're spending time working on the business, not in the business.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I like that.
It gives us time to grow our people. Before we sat behind the desk looking at numbers, and now we have time to get up and find out what's going on, see if they need any help, or coach them along the way. Everybody needs help sometime.
We all need a coach, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody needs a coach. And if you're tied up with a lot of administrative tasks and looking at the numbers and the data, Kaylee, what else would you like to ask these folks here?
I wanted to piggyback on that. You're talking about everybody needs help. So the deal with Parts Edge is I started with them in '08. I was a brand new parts manager then, got into the business, had a big head, didn't think I needed any help. My CFO came down and said, hey, we're going to bring these guys in to help you with your material. I said, I don't need that help. I got this. But he came in, and Chuck, I've known Chuck for a long time. And anyway, Chuck came in and he started teaching me. He taught me about all the things that a parts manager needs to know that doesn't ever get taught because we get tossed into the position and say, here, handle it.
Yeah.
And there's no training per se, but Chuck really took his arm around me and helped me out and grew me, and it has helped me exponentially in my career.
Yeah, and that's a great point because that happens a lot sometimes. You know, I talk about Parts Edge a lot and they're like, well, why do I need this? I don't really, everything is going great. But it just kind of goes to show, just hearing what you guys talk about is just the time savings and having that support and actually someone that gets you and gets parts.
And I will say on that also is that, you know, it's great for young parts managers and people. I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years and it's great for experienced parts managers. It alleviates time to do something else. It is just a wonderful program that helps us on our day-to-day.
And gentlemen, I would imagine there are a lot of parts managers who say, you know what, I don't need any help, right? I can do all this alone, you know, but having a partner like Parts Edge can make a difference.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So I also wanted to talk about just, you know, going full circle, talking about everything, just the inventory management or the return process, kind of digging in a little bit deeper of how we help support you guys in that. Is that something that you guys want to touch on?
Yeah, as far as the return process on my side, I mean, we have parts that
And obsolescence.
yeah, absolutely. We have parts that are protected through the RIM program that we buy from the manufacturer, and then there's some that aren't. Prior to Parts Edge coming on, all that was mixed together, so we really didn't have a grasp on, you know, what we could and what we couldn't return to JLR. So by bringing Parts Edge in, now I'm able to see what's in RIM, what's not in RIM. I'm not wasting money on protected parts, sending them back to JLR. I'm letting them, you know, I'm just letting that naturally happen, and I'm able to, you know, keep the inventory clean with the money that we do get.
Yeah. So like giving you the data, the reports to help with that. And so would you say your obsolescence, or do you know kind of average how much obsolescence you have or how much it's decreased since you started using us?
So prior to Parts Edge, I mean, I was sitting, I would say probably around 20 to 25,000 in obsolescence, and now I'm just under 5 to 6,000. So
And most of that is.
And most of that's just a kind of clothing knickknacks, merchandise that you see out here. That
So basically, you have zero obsolescence.
Right. From a parts, you know, an actual hard part. I mean, I have really none.
Yeah, and same with you.
Yeah, we're the same way. You know, we use it to get rid of our obsolescence, helping this and figuring out how to order parts efficiently and correctly, and, you know, moving fast parts and this and that, and really growing the obsolescence that we can use is a huge game changer, especially for the Land Rover side of it.
And that investment that the dealer makes, you know, it's huge not to have obsolescence. That's wasted money.
Hello. Well, gentlemen and Kaylee, on behalf of the Fixed Ops Roundtable and our community, thank you so much for telling us about your experience with Parts Edge here at Snell Motor Company in Dallas, Texas. And by the way, congratulations on being a Fixed Ops Roundtable certified dealer. We appreciate all that you do for the industry, and congratulations to all of you as well.
Thank you.
And Kaylee, congratulations to you, Fixed Ops Roundtable certified partner now. So,
thank you.
All right. I'm Ted Ings. I'm here with Kaylee Filio. We are here in Dallas, Texas at the Snell Motor Company. We will be right back. Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Ted Ings. We're here in Dallas, Texas at the Snell Motor Company, and I'm here with a great colleague and friend of the Fixed Ops community, Kaylee Filio from Parts Edge. Kaylee, welcome to Dallas and welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thanks for having me. Always happy. This is my first time meeting you in person, which is pretty amazing.
We've done, Kaylee and I have done panels for a number of years, right?
Probably 4 years.
Yeah.
As soon as it went virtual, I think, whenever that was.
And you know what? Since that time, you know, Kaylee has left a great impression on the entire fixed ops community. So if you don't mind, talk to us a little about some of the resources that Parts Edge offers dealers, some of the things that you are able to offer.
Well, one of the main things when I came into the sales and marketing role was just further providing education and support for parts managers, because everything I always heard was they're just got thrown into the position. And not literally, but you know, they were a really good counter person that became the parts manager because the other parts manager retired. And one of the founders, well, both founders are absolutely amazing, but Chuck Hartley was just a resident parts expert, did so much for Dealer's Edge. And I just furthered that along and just making sure that we create content that helps them in their day. And I hear it every single day, like a podcast episode or one of the webinars we've done just helped a parts manager be better. Like they didn't think about some of the things that we talk about. So
in the early days of the Fixed Ops Roundtable, people would contact us after the event and they would say, you know, that was a really good event. You know, but most of what you talked about was service. There wasn't so much on the parts side. And I think you have helped shape that and change that because you've put the focus on the, not just parts, but the people in parts. Talk to us about why you focused on the people, what, you know, why that's so important.
Because parts managers typically get left alone and not, and I think they do typically like that. But I think that I just wanted to bring it to the forefront. They should be part of the conversations. When they're part of the leadership conversations, it brings everyone together and real change happens. So that was one of the things. And I was frustrated that every time I would see something online, they would say fixed ops. And I'm like, well, all you're talking about is service. You're not even talking about parts. So I wanted to change that. And that's all we do at Parts Edge. We focus on one really good thing and do it really well. And we're not trying to be everything to everyone as far as that goes.
The dealership that we are at today, this is one of your clients, Snell Motor Company, and we're about to do some segments. We're going into the parts department. Talk to us about how long they've been with you, how they came to you, and some of the things that you do with them.
Well, it's one of the great stories because Sean, the parts director, he worked with us for a very long time at another location. And when he got here, there was a lot of things that he really needed help with. And he reached out and we got in and it was great. So I think we were just talking about this. He worked with us probably since 2008. So long time relationship. And that's a lot of our parts managers. When I look at how many, you know, we're working with, there's a lot with 10, 15 years that have been with us over and over again.
Do you see a lot of dealerships where you have older established parts managers and then other dealerships where you have like a new kind of parts manager coming up?
Yes, yeah, we have such a variety. And that's where I get kind of the most frustrated sometimes when I'm talking with parts managers who are seasoned and they say like, oh, this sounds like a great thing for new parts managers. And it really, I'm like, we work with some of the top parts managers in the country running massive operations. I'm like, it's not just for new parts managers. Although it's a great thing for new parts managers because there's so many new ones coming in. There's a lot of people retiring. Yeah. The growth in the last couple of years, lots of new parts managers. And you have to give them the support because they're managing one of the largest investments in the dealership when you really think about it.
And you've often compared to the used car inventory to the inventory the dealership carries in parts. So I give you a lot of credit because that's really opened a lot of eyes on a lot of general managers. Kaylee, finally, what's next for you? What's next for Kaylee Filio? You've started to leave your mark on parts and it's grown and grown. I'm just curious what's on the horizon.
You know, I've been with Parts Edge for so long. I feel like it's my company. I mean, I didn't found it, but I care so much about helping and really creating the brand and growing the company. And it's very exciting. It's such a challenge. I think that's what I love most about it is it's such a challenge to open the eyes and like put it out there. What's next for me is I don't know. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I have the podcast. And I feel like my role is sales and marketing director, but I'm also business development. I'm strategizing on the vision and everything. So I don't really know what that title is, but I'm excited for the future.
All right. Kaylee, we're excited for you as well. Thank you for all you do for the industry and moving parts and fixed ops forward. Okay, so
Thank you.
Kaylee Filio, everybody, from Parts Edge. She's with us here today. We're in Dallas at Jaguar Land Rover, the Snell Motor Company, and we'll be right back.
everyone, it's Katrina Ness, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Right now, I'm joined by Ted Ings, and we are at the Snell Motor Company in Dallas, Texas. Ted, it has been a great day so far.
It has, Katrina, and what a beautiful facility. We're meeting the people of the Snell Motor Company. Special panel here ahead of us. Want to introduce our two panelists. If you would tell us who you are and what you do, starting with Ashley.
Hi, Ashley Norton, VP of Marketing at Blink AI.
Ken Mauldin, Platform Director for the Snell Group.
So I want to talk, both of you today, a little bit about integrations. You know, Ken, you've got a number of rooftops, you got a number of facilities, you're overseeing a lot of moving parts, people and so on. You know, how important is it to have the proper integrations and deep integrations we talked about?
Oh, it's absolutely critical to your business. We talk about efficiency all day long. That's one of our key words. And if you don't have the correct systems in place and the integration between the systems that you're using, it's going to kill your efficiency, which in turn is going to cost you dollars at the end of the day.
Ashley?
I mean, I think it's more than just efficiency. I think it's employee morale. If you're not truly integrated, the capacity settings and things like that can really throw off the flow of service in a day and affect your customer experience, your advisor's experience throughout the day, and cause the heat cases that you really don't need if you have the right partners in place.
Absolutely. Ashley, talk to us about the importance of having the right partners in place and a thorough integration process where, you know, they ride along with you.
Yeah, I think when you're considering any partner for technology, training, anything, you have to ask the right questions. You have to make sure that their passions and their business rules align with yours and what you need out of your partner at the end of the day.
Definitely, Ken. And what do you look for in a partner when integrating and onboarding and seeing if they're the right fit?
I think one of the biggest things is seamless integration and also the ease of utilizing it. To her point, you know, when you being a service advisor, for instance, if you have to log into 8 or 9 different programs that don't talk to each other, they don't integrate with each other, it can be pretty chaotic during the day when you have 2 or 3 customers standing in front of you, staring you down, that type of thing. So I think it's a key factor in your business being successful at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, you have to consider it for your BDC as well, and the amount of work that falls on their lap when the phones are ringing off the hook and they're handling heat cases, and customers aren't always super excited to phone into the dealership. And if you don't have the right systems and you're missing calls, it just exasperates the problem.
It does. It absolutely does.
Yeah, you don't want it to dull efficiency. You want it to add value, right, Ken?
Yes, 100%. That's one of the, again, we talk about efficiency, but we talk about value in our company a lot and what it looks like. And we try to dial it all the way down to the bare bones of, okay, can we get this one program that would actually integrate with this program to make it easier so that you don't have to log into both at the same time?
Yeah, 100%.
I want to ask you both about the big buzzword in retail automotive, at least over the past year and a half. It's AI. Ken, I am sure coming across your desk every day and in emails and in texts and marketing, you're hearing about another AI product, another AI. Ken, first of all, from your perspective, running all of these dealerships and rooftops, how do you handle that? And how do you kind of differentiate between who's got what and what will be effective for you?
Well, it's funny you say that because I actually had a conversation with Tim, our BDC director here yesterday, talking about AI and what AI is going to look like and what our future looks like when it comes to that. I think it's going to be part of the business. We're going to have to embrace it, run with it, and see what it looks like when it comes to, our everyday business practice.
And Ashley, how is AI integrated into the Blink platform and things that you do for doors?
I mean, that's all we do is AI for service. And at the end of the day, we're not looking to replace your staff or replace your BDC. We want to enhance them. We want to automate what can and should be automated so that they can handle the more efficient, the more business value driving more revenue to the dealership. I mean, AI is going to be in the dealership no matter, you've got to embrace it, but it's not here to replace people.
And Ashley, you've got deep experience through the business development department over many years. Are there a lot of redundant activities that can be reduced by having AI?
Well, 100%. I mean, you've got customers calling in all day just to check the status of their vehicle. If you've got the right integrations and you've got the right processes in place, AI should be able to handle that without interrupting your advisor's day or your BDC's day. Customers calling in for standard oil changes, AI can handle that. And customers are embracing it. I listen to phone calls all day, every day, where customers are really embracing the AI experience, no different than when you're calling the airline or your credit card company, but you have to have the right partner in place that's not going to, again, disrupt the flow of business.
So, Ashley, on the topic of AI, how would you handle a dealer that is unsure about adding AI into their daily processes?
I mean, I think that you start small, right? But like I said, automate the things that should be automated. You don't have to give AI everything all at once. You don't have to embrace every AI product there is, even from one dealership standpoint or one company standpoint. Automate the things that should be automated today and grow from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Ken Mauldin, thank you so much. Ashley Norton, congratulations to you and Blink on the new Telematica platform and that you're rolling out around the country. Appreciate all that. Katrina and I are here. We're at the Snell Motor Company. We're in Dallas, Texas at Jaguar Land Rover, and Katrina and I will be right back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Katrina Ness, joined by Ted Ings, and we are here in Dallas, Texas at the Snell Motor Company. We have the Dynatron panel here today, along with Kaylee Filio, the go-to parts girl. Ted, this is so exciting.
It is, and for those who don't know, the folks who are up around the panel, if you don't mind, just starting with Kaylee, introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
I'm Kaylee Filio, Sales and Marketing Director for Parts Edge.
I'm Maureen Martin, Vice President of Strategic Alliances for Dynatron Software.
And I'm Brad Pascal. I'm the Market President for the Texas market here for Dynatron Software.
You know, Katrina, going back into fixed ops, I know fixed ops runs through your family's blood as well. And I got to call out, of course, the great Les Silver, whom I know your family has worked with as well, okay, in the industry. And Maureen, thank Les for all he's done and continues to do for our industry.
I absolutely will. Thank you. He loves the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
I know we've talked a lot today about things like career paths, and I'm curious, what tools does Dynatron have to help?
Well, we have a lot of tools. So one of the things that we're able to do is we're able to see market data. So for instance, like if you're able to see what the average penetration is, let's say on alignment, right? And let's say it's 5%, and you can see where every single one of your advisors stacks up against that average penetration, that allows you to have very, very structured training on where they're strong and where they're weak. And so that's one of the things that you can do within Dynatron, along with loads of other pricing optimization.
Wow. Now, Maureen, how is comparative market data key to dealers being priced right?
Oh, well, if you think about comparative market data, you really want to look at two things. One, you want to look at like franchise dealers in a similar market. And the other thing is we talk a lot, and we've talked in a lot of the panels, if a customer is not coming back to the dealership, they're likely really going to the aftermarket. So that part of the equation when it comes to a dealer being priced right in service is you need to know that aftermarket. So a key thing that we do every quarter is we do a survey of 11 aftermarket that the dealer selects.
Oh, wow.
And that is really, they pick 5 different services, 2 vehicles, and they really get an understanding. But think about what it does. One, it helps in some of the penetration that Brad was talking about, but the other is the most important, and that's building confidence in the service advisor. I think we would all agree that if we ask customers, the perception would be is the dealership is the highest price. We can tell you without a doubt, 90% of the time or better, they are not. But think about what they invest in. Their technicians, the equipment, a beautiful facility like we are here at Jaguar Land Rover here in Dallas. And so when you look at that, you need to really have a balance, understanding what is happening competitively of like franchise, but also key to that aftermarket, because sometimes they may be overpriced. You need to adjust that so that you increase your sales penetration. But at the end of the day, it's about creating that customer experience of really retention, but yet at the same time, the profitability that is so key to dealerships today.
Maureen, I know you do a lot on Dynatron, especially some of the things I've seen lately on this comparative market data. We've heard that parts sells hours. Are parts something that you also
Oh my gosh.
tracking and keeping an accuracy on? Go ahead.
Absolutely. Because if you think about looking at parts as well, parts and service just go hand in hand, right? Kaylee and I have talked so much about this, and we have a lot of dealerships that we work with together. And so when you're looking at parts, you need to understand exactly where your sweet spot is. Where is the opportunities that you have? Because again, not leaving anything on the table, but also superior customer retention. And that also puts you in the best opportunity, right, for a parts markup, those type of things that are critical to profitability. And Kaylee, I would love for you to just kind of add on to that.
Yeah, no, all great points. And I think really what it boils down to is giving the parts managers the support they need. Because when you talk about pricing and all of that, there's so much in the background that I don't think a lot of people realize when it comes to managing the inventory, and pricing plays into that. So really giving them the tools to break down the data, isolate parts so that they can price better and really see where they need to make those opportunities is so important. And I think to make the point again is just the amount of data that the parts manager is looking at, and giving them those tools to break that down is so important.
And Kaylee, Parts Edge, you work with dealers all over the country. This group that we're with here in Dallas, Snell Motor Company, this is one of your clients. Talk to us about that, because I understand they've been with you for quite a while.
Yeah, really, actually, so the parts director, Sean, he was with us at a different location, and when he moved, he brought us in, and that really happens a lot with a lot of seasoned parts managers or directors. They move locations. Oh, I don't. Parts directors typically don't move a lot. They're the ones that normally come with the building, but that it does happen a lot. When they leave, they bring us as their, this is my tool and I need it. So that's really what happened, and we've worked with them for a long time. Yeah.
Maureen, I see parts getting a lot more love lately in the industry. What about you?
It's so critical. And we had chatted before that we have just launched our new Reparator Insights. And in that, uniquely, we bring in AI and machine learning, and it's allowing us to resolve for a huge industry issue, which is opcode usage.
Yes.
And also understanding price discounting, because parts and labor discounting is not good for the dealership or really good for the customer. And so with the new AI, we're able to look at the labor that's been done, the 3 C's of the technicians that are so critical to what we do, and look at the parts, but it allows for that complex data to be made actionable. Because at the end of the day, data is only as good as it is actionable. And so we find that that's really helpful, because the parts managers are now with our general managers and service managers working together as a team for the overall profitability. We've been to a lot of industry events where they're talking about how important it is to lean into fixed operations for overall net profit. So we love that we can work together collaboratively, like we're here with Reynolds and they're a great partner of Dynatron as well, and Parts Edge. And so it's really important that we are all supporting the retail dealerships.
And Brad, you spent a lot of time in fixed ops. Talk to us about Dynatron, and congratulations to you on the success that you're having as well with Dynatron.
Yeah, so and the biggest thing that I get when I look at what we do is we have a fantastic return on investment. We have a product that kind of makes it easier and the data digestible for the service department. But the main thing that gets me excited about working for Dynatron is that if we're able to make you 22 times what you spend with us, you're able to reinvest that money back into people, technology, the community, or whatever. And that's what really, really gets us excited, where we come out and go to dealers and we get to hear those stories of, hey, I just put in a UVI system, or hey, I just created a new used car recon facility. And so hearing those stories is what really, really makes a difference.
Katrina, exciting place to be, fixed ops.
It is. It really is. And I really loved Brad's, stories about investment and the choices that dealers are making and how it's benefiting them at the end of the day. So thank you all for joining us on this panel.
Thank you.
2 great companies, everybody, Dynatron Software and Parts Edge, continuing to grow throughout the industry. Katrina, Ness, and I are here in Dallas at the Snell Motor Company, and we will be right back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Katrina Ness, joined by Ted Ings, and we are here in Dallas, Texas at the Snell Motor Company. We have a dealer pay panel here, so I'm so excited to dive in, Ted.
Katrina, so fortunate to have Dealer Pay with the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Dealer Pay is a certified partner.
Absolutely.
Jan, great to meet you, and congratulations on all the success that you're having out there.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Thank
You know, it was maybe 3-4 years ago that we first met Julie Douglas at Dealer Pay, and she's taken the world by storm.
Yes.
And if it's okay, so many dealers now are using the Dealer Pay platform, especially here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I wanted to ask you and Katrina today a little bit about the topic of surcharging, okay?
Absolutely.
Because some of our dealers had some questions. And I'll start with the first one, Jen. Is surcharging legal for all dealerships? And how do dealers know if they're doing it right?
Absolutely. Surcharge is legal in most of the states. And even the states that the surcharge, the word surcharge is not what they use, we do have a solution for that as well. The one thing that you'll hear in today's meeting is consistency, transparency, and automation. Those are the key elements that makes the surcharging legal, and the dealerships can utilize it without any complaints from the customers and without any fear. So it works 100% legally, and it's very automated.
So Jen, you said something about it not being possible in not all the states. So 4 states that restrict surcharging.
Correct.
Are those dealers out of luck?
Absolutely not. They're not out of luck. We have what we call it cash discount. The key thing in surcharging and the cash discounting is to notify the customer at all times that here is the fee. So if we go to the surcharge part, the Dealer Pay software itemize the surcharge fee, whether the customer wants to strike the credit card or the debit card. It's applying only to the credit card, not debit card and not cash or check. Our system recognizes the actual card, whether it's a debit card or a credit card, which makes it automated. And that's a key element. Connecting to the DMS and integrating with the DMS is another part of the validity of the surcharging and the automation that goes with it. As for the states that they don't allow surcharging, cash discounting is the same. And once again, we will show the customer the value of cash versus credit. So really being transparent is the key thing, and the customers love to see it rather than just going home and start wondering why the bill is different than what I paid.
Yeah.
You know, other industries are surcharging. I'm starting to see it now more and more, restaurants and things like
Absolutely.
that. Jan, will customers push back if they see a surcharge on their bill?
No, they won't, because the customers are really immune to doing that right now. As you indicated, airlines, utility companies, even government agencies are charging that. So it's not a new thing. They just need to be notified. And once everything is itemized and they are notified, there's nothing to complain about, right? They either pay by debit card or cash and don't have to pay the surcharge, or strike the credit card and pay the surcharge.
Right. So what are some compliance risks that are common that dealers are facing when it comes to surcharging?
Great question. The compliance risk is the dealerships that they try to do the surcharging manually. In other words, there's no automation whatsoever. There's no DMS, and the actual RO is not being attached. The surcharging and the actual bill is not being attached to the RO, which is a key thing, right? So what I call it the do-it-yourself or just manual intervention, it just opens the doors for mistakes.
Right.
And therefore the dealership is vulnerable, and this is where they have chargebacks and various problems.
Katrina, I know you know Julie Douglas as well. Dealer Pay is a dealer-specific payment solution. You know, it seems like it was almost an overnight success, but I know Julie's got some 25 years, okay, in this market, perfecting it and working with dealers. And it's an overnight success that, you know, it's just been realized in the last couple of years, but it's very timely. John, I want to ask you, if a dealer is considering surcharging or cash discounting, like you just said, what should they look for in a provider, like a company like Dealer Pay? What do they need to be aware of?
Very good. A software that integrates with the DMS, with the major DMSs, a software that recognizes the validity of the credit card, a true credit card, recognizing whether it's a debit card or a credit card, right? That's the key thing. And the DMS integration, and also the state by state. We have a team that actually monitors all the activities and the laws with surcharging and update us accordingly. And some of these laws change maybe twice a year, every 6 months.
Wow.
So we are engaged with the authorities just to make sure that we are compliant and we're not making any mistakes that can affect our dealerships.
I know Dealer Pay is always looking out for the dealer. Okay. Again, you have a rich history working with dealerships, and I know you're very compliant, and I know your service in terms of Dealer Pay, easy to reach all times of the day and weekends as well.
Very correct. They're all local people, right? And all hands on deck. And that's one of the things that I love about Dealer Pay. And by the way, our logo that says we love dealers, it's just not words, it's our culture.
Dealer Pay is a certified partner at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Jen, if our audience wants to learn more about Dealer Pay, what's the best way for them to take the next step? And maybe even if they have questions they want to have answered as well.
I'll be happy to provide my information, or go to dealerpay.com and all our information will be right in there. Request a demo and one of us will be right there with them, helping them out.
All right. So there you have it, Katrina, latest on surcharging and Dealer Pay and modern payment convenience.
Absolutely, Jen. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm here with Katrina Ness. I'm Ted Ings. We are in Dallas, Texas at Jaguar Land Rover, the Snell Motor Company, with Dealer Pay. Katrina and I will be right back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Katrina Ness, joined by Ted Ings, and we are closing it up here at the Snell Motor Company in Dallas, Texas. Ted, what an incredible day we've had.
Katrina, we have learned so much about Snell Motor Company and the people of the organization. Rebecca and Ken, thank you for helping to put all this together. I want to ask both of you, what was your favorite part of today? What did you like the best out of the meeting?
I think for me, it was just the excitement that everybody brought to the table. The women's panel, the one that I absolutely love has been our Dubisky students who graduated from high school in May and talking about their career path, and our shop foreman's really kind of guiding them through that process. So that was probably my favorite part.
Absolutely. I agree with her, but I also think about the culture of the company and what we're creating here, what we're building here. It's something that we focus on every day, and things like this right here really bring to light all of the accomplishments that we've done so far and also what we're going to do in the future.
I agree.
Rebecca, I think every dealership's going to want to have a talent acquisition coordinator.
I hope so.
I can't have her.
Wow. Well, thank you both again for having us. This has been an amazing day. And for those of you online that still want more, September 8th through 11th is our next all virtual 4-day event. You can get your complimentary tickets now at fixedopsroundtable.com. Ted, it will be a great event that we have coming up.
It's the Roaring 20s, the second swing. Last time we did the Roaring 20s, Katrina, it was I think our second biggest ever event. So again, those tickets are complimentary. And if you missed any of this today, we're going to repurpose a lot of that content as well. September 8th through the 11th, fixedopsroundtable.com. The tickets are complimentary. On behalf of Katrina Ness, Ken Mauldin, and Rebecca DeLeon, Snell Motor Company, and the Reynolds and Reynolds Company, I'm Ted Ings for the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Thank you for watching and being with us here today.